Now, even as tax collections remain healthy, questions are being asked about the way that the government is reporting its finances. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the CAG, has red-flagged what it sees as patchy documentation and a mismatch in information about government holding in public sector companies. The government's top auditor has gone on to ask why critical information is being buried as footnotes. Sapna joins us now to take us through the details of what the CAG has said and what the CAG is concerned about. Sapna.
Well, the observations by the top auditor, and of course they only relate to the FY22 finance accounts of the central government, but the observations are nothing short of scathing. And, let's talk about 4 to 5 instances which the CAG has kind of red flagged and highlighted. Number one, in terms of government guarantees being given. So if you look at the data, the concerned CPSEs which have received the government guarantees and the government departments which have given it, there is a huge mismatch in the numbers. For instance, a query raised to the Department of Financial Services, how many guarantees have you given, or a total number of CPSEs covered? They said 261. But, the concerned CPSEs annual reports were seen by the CAG, and it came out that 61 CPSEs are covered. So that's one example. Second, again, in terms of the amount of guarantees being given, say like by specialized funds like the NCGTC, there are at least 9, trust funds covered under this umbrella, and the amount is around 3.80 lakh crore. This also encompasses your ECLGS, which just expired, last March, and that was one of the major flagship schemes during the COVID period for MSMEs. So there again, that's a massive amount that you're talking about, 3.80 lakh odd crore, but, and 100% owned by the government. NCGTC is 100% owned by the government, but in the central account finances, this guarantee is not mentioned. There is no mention in the finance accounts of the central government. So CAG said that should be done. Third, and a bit hilarious, in terms of the equity holdings of the government and the number of shares that the president holds in many of the top PSUs. For example, you have BEL, you have GAIL, you have HUDCO, you have GIC, a whole host of companies. So there is a mismatch in the number of shares that the GUI has spoken about. And the number of shares, if you, collate it or try to compare it with the annual reports of the concerned CPSEs. And there are marked differences. We are not just talking about a difference of, say, 50 lakh odd shares or, 1 crore shares. Similarly, in terms of percentages, in many companies, for example, Tata Telecommunication, it still shows as part of the central government accounts, the GUI holds 26 odd %. Obviously, that is not true. That stake had been disinvested. Now, going on to more serious, issues, like, for example, in reserve funds, a lot of the money comes through the cesses and the other charges and levies of the central government. You have the health cess, you have the education cess clubbed into one, and you have other cesses also. So, however, the money is being collected, but the entire amount has not got transferred to the fund. For example, Universal Access Levy was one of them, around 10,000 odd crores. More than that was collected in FY22. What was transferred was around 8,300 odd crores. There was a shortfall there, and that shortfall still remains. That's one. Second, Param Madhyamik and Uchchatar Shiksha Kosh. These approvals had come through the cabinet in 2017 and March 2021 respectively. And we are talking about huge sums of money. 45,000 crores was to be transferred in these funds. That didn't happen, but the money came through GBS, the gross budgetary support. But the funds have yet to be operationalized. That's the moot point. Now, MOF says they'll do it. They must have done it last financial year. We really don't know what has actually happened. Last but not the least, very important, 258 footnotes containing some very critical information. For example, small savings collections. You're talking of numbers like 6 lakh odd crore. So all of that is being packed into footnotes, and here the CAG has said that please change this to notes to accounts, make a separate addendum, make a separate addition to your overall finance accounts, and please do that. This is not on. It's quite scathing. The report is quite scathing.
All right, Sapna, appreciate you joining us there and taking us through the details of some of the issues that the CAG has raised with the government. Now, Biocon